Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the MA GOON SQUAD show. Today we're just going to do another short one because we do have a lot of things going on this weekend, which we'll cover a lot of that on Monday for a little bit of an extended show. Real quick, let's just go ahead and dive into the game last night, right? Everyone saw it. It was Kansas City versus Baltimore, 27-20 win for the Kansas City Chiefs at home with a game-tying drive from Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, ending with his toe out of bounds and the call to be reversed. My biggest takeaway from that game, and I said it on my Twitter as well, is the illegal formation on offense number 79. That seemed to be the play that literally was called every single time the Ravens took the field on offense. And then, of course, Jawaan Taylor not getting a single illegal formation, even though he's lined up a good 1 to 3 yards off the line of scrimmage. But kind of looking at this, I kind of put everything down in sort of a thing here, a little notes here. I'm just going to go through it real quick and read the penalties that I thought affected the game in a pretty significant way. So let's go ahead and start, right? 39 at Baltimore's 48. Lamar Jackson, this is when they had a defensive pass interference, but it was offsetted by an illegal formation. Somehow, I'm not really sure how an illegal formation is offsetted by a defensive pass interference when a defensive pass interference is 15 yards, right? It's a 15-yard penalty, yet, you got a legal formation is 5 yards, so I'm not sure how you can offset that. It should have just been 10 yards in my opinion. But anyway, they did get a touchdown off that. Later on, 3rd and 6 in the first quarter here, Mahomes did pass to Rice through the middle of the field. Roquan Smith did get a horse collar tackle, which was a nice 15-yard penalty for the Ravens defense, and that result of that drive was a touchdown. Moving on, you got another illegal formation on Stanley again. This was a pass to Mark Andrews for, I think it was like 9, 11 yards, 9, 10, 11 yards, something like that. That got called back, and it made it 2nd and 17 right after, and they missed the field goal on that drive. 2nd and 20, Mahomes pass to Juju Smith, but there was a penalty for roughing the passer. That was the one everyone was like, there was no way that's roughing the passer, so on and so forth, which gave them an automatic first down. So instead of 2nd and 20, it's 1st and 10. And now they get a touchdown off that drive because of the roughing the passer. Anyway, moving on as well, Lamar Jackson had a scramble of 29 yards, but Linderbaum apparently held the guy. I watched the video myself. He did not even hold his arm. He got an offensive holding for that, which made it 1st and 20, but the result of the drive was a touchdown, so they were able to say fuck you to the refs on that one. And then finally at the end of the game, towards the end of the game, another illegal formation, which led to a field goal for them. So all in all, those are the penalties I think affected the game pretty good, affected the game a lot. I mean, it's like, what are we doing here? I mean, this is my biggest thing. This is my biggest thing regarding any sports, right? It's just the refs are always, how do I put it this way? The refs are the ones that set the tone and set the standard. I'm looking for the word, but they set how the game is going to be played, right? So when you call an illegal formation on the Ravens, you should be calling it also on the Kansas City Chiefs, because now they know the refs are not going to, let them get away with something like that because they've called it twice in like one drive on the Ravens, right? But no, not in a single illegal formation for the Kansas City Chiefs, even though Jawaan Taylor was lined up pretty far off, like Stanley or even further back. Furthermore, the false starts by Jawaan Taylor as well, gets away with that too. Not sure how he gets away with that. Good for him. I want to know how he does it too. But, kind of just like recapping the game, the refs need to make it a fair play. That's all I'm trying to say. I just need it to be consistent calls on both sides of the field, right? I'm not looking for one ref to allow more stuff than the other. I'm just looking for, if you're going to call one thing, you have to call it both ways, because if not, it's not fair. So just a little consistency from the refs. But let's go ahead and just dive into the game itself, right? So kind of looking at the game here, I mean, it wasn't a bad game. It certainly wasn't a bad game for Lamar Jackson, but it wasn't a great game. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a great game at all. You know, Lamar Jackson, 26 for 41, 273, one touchdown. 26 for 41 is a little difficult, with Mahomes going 20 for 28, 291, a touchdown to pick. Derrick Henry had a solid outing for 13 carries, 46 yards. He did what he needed to do, kind of wear down the defense. Lamar, 16 carries, 122 yards. So like I said, running wise, Lamar had a great game. 7 yards, around 8 yards a carry. Passing wise, he could have been a little bit more accurate. His QBR was 61.1 that game. Not too bad, but not too great either. Missed a couple wide open guys. I think the biggest thing that we got from this game and the biggest stat line was Isaiah Likely. A lot of people had Mark Andrews. I had Mark Andrews in my bets, or just, some people had him on a fantasy team. But it was really the Isaiah Likely to, Lamar to Likely connection that really stood out to a lot of people. 9 catches, 111 yards, and a touchdown. He had 12 targets on the night, with Zay Flowers being the second most at 10, and then Justice Hill, the running back, back up for Derrick Henry at 8 targets. So those are kind of the guys that he looks for in the field. Rashad Bateman, 2 catches, 53 yards, 5 targets, not too bad for him. And then over on the other side, Rashee Rice, we all knew he was going to be good. 7 catches, 103, 9 targets. But it was Xavier Worthy who had a pretty spectacular game. 2 catches, 47 yards, and a touchdown on 3 targets. And then rushing wise, he had 1 carry for 21 yards and a touchdown as well. So 2 touchdown game for him. Pacheco just played okay as well. Played as good as Henry did. Those two didn't really stand out to me. But yeah, I mean, kind of looking at the game here, team stat wise, if you're going to beat the Chiefs at the Chiefs, I will say ref or not, you can't go 7 for 14. You can't go 50% on third down for efficiency there when the Chiefs are well above 50% on their third downs. Give via penalties or something like that. But I believe they were I think they were 50% or maybe more as well. But the Chiefs can be 50% at home, if that makes sense. It's the Ravens that need to be, converting those third downs to keep themselves going. You know what I'm saying? They need to convert those third downs to just keep the drive alive and keep the ball moving. But when you go 1 for 2 on fourth down, they went for that fourth down in the middle of the field there, and then 7 for 14 on third downs. It's 7 drive killers, or 8 if you count the fourth down. That's 8 drive killers right there that you could have had more time for possession of the ball. But Baltimore did have quite a few possession, having 452 total yards compared to Kansas City's 353. Like I said, I think Baltimore outplayed them. I just don't think, they could have outplayed the refs, if that makes sense. 7 penalties, 64 yards compared to the Chiefs, 6 penalties for 45 yards. Also, 1 for 4 in the red zone. Not really a great stat for them, but yet, the Chiefs went 1 for 3. And it's week 1. It's going to be ugly. It's not going to be a pretty game for either team. But I think I think the Ravens played the best. I think they played better than the Chiefs. I think the Ravens got robbed. I mean, I'm not saying that the Likely catch in the end zone was a bad call. I think, was it the right call? I'm not going to say no, but I'm not going to say yes either. I'm just saying the ruling of to get a touchdown overturned, is it has to be indisputable evidence. That means it has to be a no doubt in your mind. You can look at the film and you can say to yourself, yes, that's indisputable. That there's 100% guarantee that dude's toe was out of bounds. My thing is, looking at the video, right? There's not any green between his toe and the white. But then again, how do you know his toe is over the white? Because when we were looking at it, it looked like it was just barely touching the white paint. So in my head, if you're even questioning yourself on that, it's for the game, right? You're tying the game right here. That's where I'm like, listen, indisputable evidence for me. That's where I was. But do I think it was the right call? Yes. I'm just saying, for Ravens fans that think it was the wrong call, I see where you're coming from. I could see why you would say that, and I sort of agree as well. But I just think if the ref or the booth was questioning it any at all, it shouldn't have been overturned. It has to be indisputable. There shouldn't even be a doubt in your mind. You shouldn't even have to question if that was a touchdown or not, if that makes sense. When you look at the review and you're ready to make the call and you're still kind of hesitant or questioning, just don't overturn it. Just don't overturn it. There's no point to overturn it. So, there really is no point to overturn it at that point. But kind of getting into the rest of this, I'm just going to go through here real quick. I don't think I gave my kind of like outlooks on college football for tomorrow, so I'm going to do that real quick here. Kind of looking at everything. Like Parker was saying, Texas, Michigan spreads at -7, totals 42.5. I'm going to take Texas -7 and or money line for them. Penn State, I think, should cover -34 against Bowling Green at home. Oklahoma State -10. Honestly, I'm going to take Arkansas +10. I don't think Arkansas is great, but I don't think they're bad enough to lose by double digits to Oklahoma State. Moving on, Kansas State University is facing off against Tulane at Tulane. Kansas State is -8.5. Again, I think Tulane could hang in there, but I'm going to take +8.5. I think they just lose by a touchdown, so I'm going to take Tulane +8.5. Georgia Tech -3 going to Syracuse. Parker, I believe, said he was going to Syracuse. I'm not sure with Kyle McCord there, the transfer from Oklahoma State. I'm going to go ahead and go with Georgia Tech and Haynes Keene. I think Georgia Tech is a really solid team, 2-0, 1-0 in the ACC. I think even with Kyle McCord being there, that Georgia Tech has just built something really nice. Give me Georgia Tech by a field goal for sure on the road in New York. Kind of looking at some of these other ones that I think are worth betting on. Let's see here. Notre Dame -28 against Northern Illinois. I probably wouldn't bet -28 just because it's Notre Dame. Baylor -14.5 versus Utah -14.5 against Baylor. I don't remember what the score was for them last time. I think they won. Oh no, they haven't played. Oh yeah, they did. 20-13. Okay. So last year they won 2013, but this time it's at home. What is the spread again? -14.5. I'd probably do money line. I don't think I would go 14.5. I'd probably just go 7 for Utah at home against Baylor. I don't think I would take the 14.5 there. Iowa State, Iowa. Iowa is a 2-point favorite at home versus Iowa State. Just, go ahead and give me Iowa -2. I think they win by a field goal or outright. So go ahead and give me Iowa -2. I think Caleb McNamara is capable enough to move the ball down the field for Iowa this year and give them some sort of offense. You got the afternoon SEC game, South Carolina versus Kentucky. Vandergriff, of course, the transfer from Georgia at Kentucky now. Kentucky 8.5 favorite at home. I probably wouldn't take the 8.5. Honestly, give me South Carolina +8.5, and then I might even go money line on South Carolina. I'm not saying Kentucky's bad, but I think South Carolina could stick around and make it interesting in that game for sure. Moving on here, we got Ole Miss and MTSU 43. I probably wouldn't bet that, so I'm going to skip that. Alabama, South Florida. You know what? Alabama versus South Florida. I don't think Alabama wins by 31. Alabama is very good. You know what? Let's go ahead and give them. I'll give them 31. I'll take Alabama -31. Mizzou, I'd probably take -34 as well. Wake Forest versus Virginia. You know what? Give me Anthony Calandria and Virginia to beat Wake Forest. So I'll take +1 or money line for Virginia. I'll probably take +3.5 for Virginia, and then the money line would be the two I would do. Moving on into the night games, the 6 o'clock games we're looking at. Tennessee versus NC State. Tennessee has now moved to a 9.5-point favorite. I probably wouldn't even take them at that. I'll take Tennessee Tennessee at 4.5, or I'm fine with 4.5. Give me Tennessee at 4.5 point favorite. I think they win. I think they win for sure. I just don't think they win by 9.5. That's a little absurd. Moving on, let's see. And this is the other one I was talking about, Boise State versus Oregon at Oregon. I have a Boise State moneyline bet. That's just my long shot upset alert of the week. But I'll probably take Boise State +19. I'll take Boise State +19. And if you want better odds, I'll take Boise State plus 15.5, honestly. So, yeah, give me Boise State to hang in there with Oregon. I think it could be a very, very interesting game for them. And then the rest, who really cares about that? So I think the other thing I wanted to touch on real quick was, where was it at? Oh, yes. NFL. We talked about our winners and losers, but we haven't talked about betting wise. So betting wise, Steelers Falcons, Atlanta -3.5. I'd probably take the, you know what? Give me the Steelers in an alternate spread at. Give me them at like 5.5. I'm gonna take the Steelers at 5.5. I think the defense is really solid. They could easily win that game, but at the same time, Atlanta could win off of a field goal, or it could be like 24-20 or something like that. So give me the Steelers at 5.5. Cardinals and Bills. Bills favored by 6.5. I would comfortably take that against the Cardinals. I think Josh Allen proves to people that the Bills are still a relevant team. And I don't think Kyler Murray has that great of a game on the road against the Bills. Titans versus Bears. Chicago is -3.5 or 3.5 favorite over the Tennessee Titans. Parker picked the Tennessee Titans to win outright. I'm going to take Tennessee Titans at 5.5 again, sort of like the Steelers. I think the Titans could mess around and hang in there. Do I think they're going to win? Maybe, maybe not. But I think it's going to be another 4-point win, 3-point win for the Bears. So moving on real quick, we got Patriots, Bengals. Bengals -7.5. I'd probably take that against the Patriots. The Patriots are not that great. I think Burrow shows everyone that the Bengals are ready to rock and roll on the year. Texans and Colts, a really good divisional game for the kickoff week. Houston -3 on the road. I'll probably take Houston -3 or Houston money line. I don't think the Colts are going to win this one. I'm not saying the Colts are bad or good enough to beat them. I just think the Texans win this one with Stephon Diggs, Joe Mixon, Nico Collins, and C.J. Stroud. Moving on, we got the Jaguars and the Dolphins. Miami is a 3.5-point favorite. I probably take the Jags 5.5 again. I still think the Jags are in the same situation as the the Titans and the Steelers are. I think they could, stick around and keep it close for that one. We got Panthers and Saints. Saints -4. I'm going to take Saints -4. I'm not saying that as a Saints fan. I just don't think the Panthers offense is that great to move the ball. Vikings, Minnesota is a 1.5-point favorite. Go ahead and give me the Giants 4.5-point on alternate spread. Give me the Giants 4.5 at home. I don't think they lose big, but if they do lose, it's going to be by 3 again. Raiders, Chargers, LAC -3. I like that. Broncos, Seahawks -6. I'm okay with that. I probably would take -3, but I'll take Seahawks -6. Cowboys, Browns -2.5. Like I said, I like the Browns to win this one. I'll take the Browns -2.5 or money line, but you can also do the Cowboys at 5.5 again. I think would be a safe one. Commanders, Bucks, Tampa Bay -3.5. I'll easily do that. And Rams, Lions, of course, Parker picked the Rams to win. I picked the Lions, Detroit -4.5, over 52.5 points. I think the over hits in that one. I also think Detroit wins, so I'll take the 4.5 and the money line. But if you want to say bet, probably 5.5 for the Rams. Finally, we got the Jets and the 49ers. Niners 4.5 point favorite. I'll probably just do the 49ers 4.5 point favorite. I'm not saying Rodgers is a bad quarterback. I just don't think he's good enough to beat the 49ers at home. So before we get into our next segment, like I said, we've been working on the Discord server for a little bit. I think it should be ready. I know I said that already. It should be ready by this week, though. So be on the lookout for that in the comments. If you're listening on the podcast, feel free to go check out our YouTube page to access the Discord for free, where you can come talk to me, Bobby, Parker, and other viewers in there about sports, all things sports and whatnot. So, yeah. Also, another thing, if you do decide to bet on any of those NFL or NCAA games, please make sure you bet responsibly and that you're 21 years or older. Again, like I said, I do this for fun. I just do it to sit there, watch the game, and have fun doing it. Yeah, please bet responsibly and just have fun doing it. So, other than that, I don't think we have anything else to cover. Like I said, this is a rather short episode. I just kind of wanted to get something in there because we're going to have a lot to talk about on Monday. NCAA, NFL, MLB wrapping up. So, like I said, Monday, Tuesday is going to be a lot of talk. But, yeah, I hope you guys have a great night. We got the Eagles and Packers kicking off momentarily here as I'm recording this live. Of course, it would probably be already almost done by the time this is uploaded. But I hope you guys have a great night. Have a great weekend of college sports, week 1 of NFL, and I hope you guys take care and have a fun weekend. All right, see ya.